good morning. This is Kalyan from Sai Solution, and I'm live. We'll be talking with Victoria in a while, and we'll explore vitality in terms of physics. So this is a 7 o'clock session.
I have
Awesome.
found.
Awesome. Now I think it's better. I heard your sound. Now we lost.
Hello.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
perfect.
Oh, thank God.
Perfect.
What goes on?
Perfect.
Works perfectly when we're having trials.
Doesn't matter,
Anyway,
doesn't matter.
anyway,
So,
we're here now.
for all the guys, I just would like to formally welcome Victoria once again to this live
Thank
session,
you. Thank
Facebook
you.
live session. Yeah, yeah. So, we are actually connected from a common chord called Sir Kevin Hinton.
Yes.
And Victoria is trained directly under Kevin Hinton, and she is, I can say, that globally renowned nature cure diagnostician.
Thank
And
you.
it's a privilege to have you, Victoria, on the session.
Thank you,
So
Kalyan.
Victoria, it's all to you. If you can just give your introduction a little and
Lovely.
take us through the concept of vitality a bit.
Lovely. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kalyan, and thank you for the wonderful introduction, and thank you everybody for bearing with us with the technological glitch there. You know, Kalyan and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and it was a very long and lively conversation about the concept of vitality. And, you know, we're sort of talking about, you know, vitality. Kalyan starts talking to me about physics, which is fascinating, and it's completely related to vitality. And, you know, so vitality is a concept that you'll be repeatedly encountering as you go along your path with Nature Cure. But you'll almost never hear this concept mentioned in any other field, philosophy, or practice of healthcare. You know, Nature Cure, in Nature Cure, it is the complete understanding of this concept of vitality and precisely how to manage it. And that's exactly what explains why Nature Cure always succeeds where all else has failed. You know, so when we look at health, we tend to see health as divided into two categories. We've got conventional health on one side and we've got alternate health on the other. And under conventional health, we're looking at, you know, medicine as it is practiced today, and this is backed up by the product and the philosophy of the big pharmaceutical companies. And then on the other hand, under alternate health philosophies, we've got this whole myriad of practices and philosophies, and they're all lumped together. And generally, unfortunately, this is where Nature Cure also tends to get placed. You know, so alongside things like crystal healings, bark flower remedies, tissue salts, urine therapy, fermenting, on and on it goes. You know, Nature Cure is lamentably thrown into this big category of alternate health. You know, and this is, you know, so Nature Cure gets thrown into this pile of what really is just unscientific quackery, you know, and so it's our strong drive and strong desire that we're going to pull Nature Cure out of this pool of mysticism and place it firmly in the domain of science, because that is precisely what Nature Cure is. You know, Nature Cure is pure science. You know, in Nature Cure, there's no case of trial and error. There is only the pure application of scientific principles. And so we find that there is no surprise, you know, and there is to be given no praise to a higher being when the absolutely expected positive response of the organism is observed when we put into place these principles of Nature Cure. You know, Nature Cure is based on all of the dialectical laws of science, and these are the laws that govern all life on this planet. You know, and dialectics doesn't care who came up with whatever practice or theory people are following at the time. Nature Cure does, dialectics, should I say, doesn't care where these practices were written down, and dialectics doesn't care how many people have accepted whatever the practice happens to be. You know, if the practice is not in accordance with the irrefutable scientific laws of dialectics, then it is to be rejected. You know, when we accept these false philosophies of, you know, unscientific folklores which come from a bygone era, we become non-dialectic and we merely play with our illness. You know, in these instances, no health is ever recovered, and all we're doing is following these highly questionable practices, and our symptoms are being suppressed. You know, in our last session we talked about symptom suppression versus cure. You know, there is absolutely no correlation between symptom suppression and cure. So in our effort today to shine some illuminating light of science onto Nature Cure, we've decided to discuss the absolutely fundamental and totally scientific concept of vitality, because only the management of vitality that will return a sick organism to health. Absolutely. Absolutely nothing else can return you to health. And so if you want to so you absolutely must understand this concept if you want to have any hope of either regaining your health or indeed maintaining your health. So it's vitality management that explains the assertion of the Nature Cure philosophy that the human body is a self-healing mechanism, okay? And we say that there is no healing power in anything outside of the human body. So when an organism has mustered enough vitality, any required healing will be the automatic response of the organism. You know, and it's vitality coupled with this innate intelligence of the organism that we're dealing with in the human body. So having said all that wonderful stuff about vitality, I'm going to hand you now over to Kalyan, and Kalyan's going to talk to you about physics, which is going to get deep. But hang in there, because you know, vitality is all about physics. Absolutely, it's science, and Kalyan's excellent at explaining this. So I'm going to hand you over to Kalyan. All yours, Kalyan.
Yeah, thank you, Victoria, for introducing physics into vitality. So I just flipped my camera for the audience to show some slides. I'm not sure if it's visible.
It's visible for me.
Victoria, can you confirm whether
Yep,
it is
I can
visible?
see it.
Because
maybe just
because
take
in the
it
split.
take it back a little bit, I would say, just a little bit away. We're not quite seeing the whole.
Is it better?
A little bit further back, a little bit. Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty close.
Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Stop there.
Right. Right.
Great.
So okay. So yeah. So as it was a little scary to hear the name of physics for many, I'll just
Me too.
I'd like to relax you. This is very fundamental physics, and this is very relatable life physics and theoretical physics, I must say. So whatever the physics that we take up in our research is based on the theoretical physics, and theoretical physics is just a way of observing nature. You know, and we'll bring upon the greatest theoretical physicist, Sir Albert Einstein's formulas also. So we need to understand this basic physics to understand vitality. So I'll start with this equation first. The life means a combination of body and vitality.
Absolutely.
And body is a form, is a visible form. And the vitality is a formless existence within the body. So without the vitality, the body becomes dead body. And without the body, the vitality is useless. If we don't have the body, then we cannot use the vitality for sure.
Indeed.
So this first understanding is very much necessary to correlate physics and the nature cure. So now, if we look at the definition of energy, as we understand, the vitality is quite comparable with the energy concept. which is a physics concept. And as per the definition, energy is a capacity of doing work. Energy is capacity of doing work. And as per nature cure, the vitality is the cause behind all the activities that a life performs. So now if you just see both the definitions, energy is a capacity of doing work and vitality is the cause behind all the activities that a life performs. So can you correlate the activities with the work and performing with the doing? So all the same, it's just rephrasing the definition of energy. So we see a correlation over here. Now let's go a little deeper to understand the basic physics, to understand what is energy. So I'll start with very fundamental primary measurements, which is all of us actually have studied in schools, so that there are three primary measurements: distance, mass, and time. And based on those three measurements, there are other secondary measurements comes up, which is the first is the speed. Speed is the rate of change of distance, which is d upon t as mentioned on the slide that you see. Right. Now acceleration is the rate of change of speed, as you see, s upon t, or we can say that d upon t whole upon t. So that means d upon t square, as you see here. Now the force concept is a product of mass and acceleration. So we are just expanding the concepts of primary measurements to the secondary measurements. So here mass into acceleration is nothing but mass into distance d upon whole upon t square. Now work is, as we understand the definition of the work is, if we apply force and the force is actually initiating some distance change, then only the work is identified. Yeah, so Aparna, the energy is quite equal to vitality. We'll just yet to conclude the concept of correlation. So we are just starting that concept. So please stay tuned. Right. So now the work is always the product of force and distance. Now, if you see the product of force and distance, so force, just we understood that force is the product of mass into distance upon time squared, then with that, the distance is multiplied. So we can conclude that the work is mass into distance squared whole upon time squared, right? So if it is too much of information, let's revise little, right? On this slide, we'll revise it. So yeah, Victoria, it's a revision again. So D is distance, M is mass, T is time. These are the primary measurements in physics. Now the secondary measurements are speed is d upon t, A is acceleration, which is d upon t square. So we are converting the secondary measurements in terms of the primary measurements, if you see.
Yes.
Right? Now the force is m into d upon t square, and work is w, which is mass into d square upon t square. Now what is energy? As per physics, energy is capacity to work, and energy is measured by the work done. This we need to understand. Energy is measured by the work done. This is very important understanding, because we are talking about energy ultimately. So we are converging all our understanding to the energy. Now, since the work is m into d square upon t square, so we can just club d and t, and we can just convert this into like this: m into d upon t whole square. So this d square upon t square is converted into d upon t whole square, and d upon t is nothing but speed, d upon t. If you remember in the previous slide that we understood, speed is d upon t. So now we can simply replace d upon t by s, and we can say E equals to m dot S square. That means energy equals to mass into speed square. Up to here, I think we can understand what physics is talking about energy. Now, let's go a little deeper as far as the basic concept of pure nature cure and try and understand the energy concept in a rephrasing manner.
Yes.
Now, as per nature cure, the radiation is the primary source of life.
Absolutely.
Radiation is the primary source of life. So up to here, whatever I have discussed, all of you are able to easily correlate because those are taught in schools and easily correlatable. Now you need to correlate the concept of pure nature cure with the concept of energy now. So concept of pure nature cure starts with the understanding of radiation. So radiation is the primary source of life, and radiation is a combination of energy and particles. Energy and particles. So when we talk about this galaxy, the primary radiation is the solar radiation, the sun radiation. So it has both the things, the energy and the particles both. Now the energy moves in a linear motion. Energy moves in a straight line, linear motion. And the particle moves in a circular motion. Particles are circular in terms of their motion. Now, as per pure nature cure, the linear motion of massive speed, of massive speed cannot be captured by our eyes, and hence that remains formless. And we know energy is formless.
Indeed.
Energy, we cannot show energy. We can act and show some proof of the energy, but ultimately energy is not visible.
No.
So is the vitality. Vitality is also not visible.
Now,
when the linear motion, this is another aspect where you can correlate physics with nature cure. When a linear motion, so suppose something is moving in a straight line, and it is asked to take a curve, take a circular turn. Now those who drive will be able to correlate. When you drive and take a turn, we need to reduce the speed, isn't it?
Of course.
Right. So when we do that we change the linear motion to the circular motion, the speed has to be reduced for the needed curve. And with the reduction of the speed, it becomes visible.
Indeed.
Because high speed is not visible. Now the lesser speed is visible. So with that understanding, we can conclude that the pure nature cure, what it is saying is all the forms are structured with circular formation, be it atoms or the cells of the body, atoms of the substance and cells of the body. This is very important understanding, because we know the atoms are circular in shape and the cells are also circular in the shape, and that is very much correlated with the understanding of pure nature cure, that circular formation of the forms. So here we can conclude that the formless is formless due to its massive speed in comparison to the form. So that means if the formless is reduced by its speed, then it can take a form, or if we add huge speed in the form, then it becomes formless. It becomes formless, right? So that is what is our conclusion in the physics also, if you just remember. Now E equals to ms squared, we understood the concept of energy. Now I just would like to introduce the special theory of relativity by Sir Albert Einstein, who said E equals to mc square, where E is energy, m is mass, and c is speed of light. So see the intellect of this great physicist, where he actually added radiation into it, speed of light, right? So there is a connection between form and formless in conjunction to the light, and the speed of light, which is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, is huge.
Massive.
So this conversion is possible theoretically, but humanly it is not possible because of the huge speed we need to understand. Now we can conclude with this, that the formless equals to form into speed squared, right? So there we see a correlation between the understanding of physics and nature cure map to map. Just there is some exclusivity which is there for the vitality, as Soparna tried to conclude that energy is equal to vitality. Energy is not equal to vitality exactly, because the vitality is applied only to the life. The vitality is applied to the life only. The life has the power. So what is the difference between the life, living and non-living object? The evolving nature of evolution. So the non-living object cannot grow on its own. The living object only can grow. It is an innate capacity of the living object, which is driven by the vitality. So that power of evolution, can we call it intelligence? Because it is definitely the growth. So intelligence, the conscious intelligence that we talk about a lot, but this is a kind of beyond conscious intelligence. So we'll talk some other time about the mindfulness and conscious, beyond conscious aspects, which is very much interesting topic for everybody. But for now, we need to understand that this evolving means an innate intelligence. So we can conclude by understanding physics and pure nature cure that the vitality is energy with innate intelligence.
Innate intelligence.
So, innate
Absolutely.
intelligence. And all the physics concepts are applicable to the vitality concept. So if we talk about the thermodynamics, all the laws of thermodynamics, be it the first law, second law, third law, the 0th law, all the concepts are correlatable, and it can be established easily with the vitality understanding. Just that because of the paucity of time, we will not go through all the laws of thermodynamics, but we can pick up about the first law of thermodynamics, which is the conservation law of energy, which says in an isolated system, the vitality can neither be created nor be destroyed. And with that conception, the vitality conception is also correlated, because in an isolated system, when we call, then this body, the body of the organism, is an isolated system. And in that isolated system, whatever the energy is there, and whatever the energy is received at the time of conception is constant till the perishment of this body. So this is as good as the first law of thermodynamics established.
Absolutely.
Right? So Victoria, so regarding this vitality concepts, we get to hear a lot of questions about the aging process. That
Yes.
if the vitality is constant, then what is aging and all those stuff, like how the vitality is occupied by aging. So I request Victoria, you to explain the audience about this aging process correlating to the vitality.
Well, so when we talk to people about vitality, we talk about nerve force being the same as vitality. We're born with all of the vitality, we're born with all of the nerve force we'll ever have. And talk to you at the start about Kalyan's just mentioned the law of thermodynamics, about the law of conservation of energy. And in Nature Cure, we're basically talking about vitality management, and the better we manage the vitality that we have been bequeathed at the point of conception, the longer and healthier our life will be. And later on, Kalyan is going to show you the very fabulous vitality ribbon, which will help you understand this is very clearly. So with aging is a natural process. And I remember in my studies, I came across a quote that says, "Time does not age us, we age in time." And that really landed upon me, because it basically means, you can see somebody who's 60 years of age, but they're really sprightly. This is a person that's, looked up, been born with some good vitality, and they've looked after what they've been given. Even somebody who may not have been born with such excellent vitality, but they've looked after themselves. And so they've reached the age of 60, an age where a lot of people will expect a person to be on the decline, slowing down, starting to get aches and pains, health failing. And yet this person is very sprightly, bright, having an easy time of life, not racked with pains and aches, and you look at that person and you say, well, maybe chronologically they are 60 years of age, but physically they are not that old. They might be more like a 50 or a 40-year-old. And conversely, we can also see someone who's 40 years old who may have been born with either not such a good constitution, or even I've seen people with very good constitutions who have absolutely destroyed what they've been given, who have, sometimes we refer to it as someone who has burned the candle at both ends. So they have not been practicing vitality management. They have been ignoring all the laws, all the 8 requirements for the health of the human organism, and consequently at the age of 40, they're in very poor state of health. They're unwell, aches and pains, very slow, having trouble with life. And we look at that person and say, well, maybe chronologically they're 40, but they're more like a 60-year-old because they haven't looked after themselves. So, eventually it is everything in nature cycles. Life, there is the cycle of life and death, and there's birth, and then we get to death. And how we manage our vitality during the time of our life will very much determine how long our life is, and also the quality of life that we lead. And it is not a foregone conclusion that somebody, I so often see people who die absolutely premature deaths because of their poor management of their vitality during their life. And so with Nature Cure, what we do is we teach people. Nature Cure is primarily about educating people to take control of their life and their own health, because it is absolutely something everybody can do. And so we are teaching vitality management. And if you want to, anytime you open a magazine, turn the television on, it's all about the new anti-aging this and anti-aging that, and they want to sell it to you in a bottle. But there isn't, or that you can rub on, or some sort of, pill or potion or whatever, and they're going to come up with the science of working on a cure for aging, and we just laugh. We just laugh. It's ridiculous, and that people are sucked in by that is even more ridiculous. So once you understand the concept of vitality, and once you understand how to apply that to your life, then you will be free of all of this jargon and rubbish that we get put in front of us all the time. So now I'm going to hand you back to Kalyan, and Kalyan's going to take you through the vitality ribbon, which is fabulous, and it's going to really, I know we've got a little, the physics part, we can get a little bit lost in it, but this is where it all comes together, and there you can really see all about vitality and how it affects you in the aging process, and what you can do to take control of that. Back to you, Kalyan.
Thank you, Victoria, for introducing the vitality ribbon. So let me flip the camera for the slides, because I'm perennially a teacher. So teacher needs a lot of aids to teach. And we all Nature Cure practitioners are basically teachers.
We're teachers, absolutely.
So we need to use aids to make an effective teaching. Yes, Victoria.
I just always remember Sir Kevin Hinton saying to me, he said, when I don't hear from people, I know I've done my job correctly. He said, because we want to teach people to take control of their own health. So when I'm not hearing from people, I know I have succeeded in my job.
Absolutely. Victoria, that reminds me a correlation of a business term called repeat customers. So this is very attractive aspects in new age businesses. If you have repeat customers, then your business is flourishing well.
Yes.
So in the business of Nature Cure, we actually consider ourselves failure if the customers repeat.
Absolutely.
Because we want no repetition of the customers.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So as we are intending to unfold a concept of vitality ribbon. So those who have joined and know the vitality ribbon concept with Sai Solution last year also, this is a modified concept of vitality ribbon, which I and Victoria both work together and finalize this illustration of the vitality ribbon. So this is little different than the ribbon that you have seen in Sci Solution courses earlier.
You
So
improved.
just stay tuned. Yeah. So before going to the ribbon, I need to remind all of us that the attributing factors of vitality are these three. So genetic environment and the lifestyle. Genetic environment and the lifestyle. Now here we need to understand very critically that for our life, the genetic attribution, we may choose not to analyze a lot, because whatever is cast is cast. We cannot change that. And as far as the environment is concerned, environment is a community effort. We need to contribute there individually, but the change in the environment is not lying on individual. So we cannot do a lot of change around by stepping forward alone, right? So the control, the complete onus of the control lies here, the lifestyle. The lifestyle is on us individually, and we can take control of our lifestyle to have a better vitality management. And how that can happen, we are just going to unfold here. Right. Yeah. SP comments about the repeat customer concepts. Yeah. Repeat customer is not for nature cure for sure. So, yeah. So I was talking about the lifestyle. Lifestyle factors are actually in three buckets can be possible. The lifestyle management. So physical, physiological, and psychological factor. So we'll go deeper in other time about these all three domains, but we need to understand that there are a lot of scopes available in lifestyle management to manage our vitality. Absolutely. Now the vitality is a kind of the vitality quotient in particular, the total quotient of the vitality that we receive at the time of conception. Our conception is a kind of unique wallet you can consider. It's a full of money, but the bad news is you cannot earn more. You cannot earn more. Whatever is there is there. You cannot earn more. But the good news is you have enough. And this is not just an assumption that you have enough. You have enough. The proof is that your existence, because a life formation cannot be possible unless there is enough vitality during the time of conception. So during the time of conception, if you have ample vitality, then only your formation happens. Your progression in your mother's womb happened because you had vitality enough. So we need not to worry that we cannot earn more. That means we are going to have a bad life. That's not the fact, because we have enough in our wallet. So if this conception is not pretty clear, I'll bring upon another concept of having multitasking levers within our body. Suppose you have a lot of a big group of multitasking lever. What is multitasking? Means the levers who can do anything and everything. So that is what is your vitality quotient. It's a huge group of people within you, lever, who will take your command to get themselves engaged or disengaged. So whatever the levers that we engage in some or other activities, will be considered as consumed vitality. As you see in the image that people are engaged in many activities in a factory. So that factory is your body, and these levers are the vitality which are engaged in different activities, from blinking of the eyes to digesting, talking, thinking, listening, whatnot, walking, dancing, everything. So those vitalities are engaged, we consider as consumed vitality. And the conserved vitality are the disengaged vitality which are there within you, very proactive. You see the image, all the people in this box are ready to work. They're raising their hand to volunteer for the work. And that is what is the disengaged vitality within you. This is the conserved vitality within us, which gives us the sense of life too. Now, let's proceed towards the vitality ribbon and we need to understand the vitality of a moment before we go to the ribbon. Now, this is a moment of vitality, a single moment of vitality, where you see this green portion. This green portion is the disengaged vitality, as we discussed. We can rephrase that as sense of life. So right now, whatever the sense of life that you are sensing right now, all the audiences I'm just talking to, that is nothing but the disengaged vitality within you. Now, what is the engaged vitality? Now, in the engaged vitality, there is a two portion, as you see. The red portion is the organically engaged vitality due to aging. What Victoria has just explained. The aging is a process which will keep on engaging our vitality slowly and progressively towards the death we'll be reaching. That's the fact of life. But this black portion, this is the main problem area. The black portion. The black portion is the additional engagement of the vitality due to our bad choices of the life. So more we observe about this bad choices of the life, the black portion will come with a reduction. So slowly and gradually it will come to a reduction if we are mindful about it. Now let's understand that when a bad choice is opted, how it happens, how it looks in terms of the, just a second, yeah, sorry. So when a bad choice is opted, that time, so here in this slide, you see two consecutive moments. In the first moment, a bad choice, suppose, is opted. In the second moment, the bad choice is going to be hiked. So the black portion is going to be hiked, and the green portion, the green area, is reduced here. So this is the impact of a bad choice, when a bad choice is opted in the life. And now let's see, when a good choice is opted, what happens? The black portion gets reduced. Now, if you see minutely, the red portion is increasing here from the first moment to the second moment, right? But even though the red portion is increasing, but the green portion is increasing too. So even if you are aging, if you work on your lifestyle management, then the sense of age will not lower you in terms of the sense of life. That's very important aspect, right? So aging can be reversed this way. So the organic occupation of the vitality cannot be avoided, but the additional occupation of the vitality can be reduced mindfully, and the sense of life and sense of aging can be reversed. Now, before going to the vitality ribbon, I would like to show the untimely death aspect also. So untimely death is nothing but this. Whenever, at any moment, we just touch the brim of the vitality quotient by the black portion, the additional engagement. So take example of snake biting or poisoning or electric shock or any accidental death. So this happens because of this black portion gets increased and it touches the topmost portion of the vitality quotient. So that moment is the moment of death.
Nothing
if we
left.
understand. Yeah, nothing is left kind of sense, but definitely the vitality will remain in the body till the perishment of the body, to decompose the body.
Yes.
Right. So, so that way the sudden death happens. Now let's look at the ideal death and the mature death. So there is difference between the ideal death and mature death. So ideal death is this, wherein you'll see that there is a green portion at the top of the quotient, top of the moment, and there you'll be able to observe that you are going to die. It's a conscious death. This is the ideal death. But ideal death is a kind of hypothetical at this point in time. So the actual practical death, practical mature deaths, we cannot avoid the black portion completely. But even though we have little bit of black portion, then also there will be a sense of life during the death, where you will be able to understand that death is coming, and you will be very happy. So not happy in a suicidal way, but you will be happy organically that death is embracing you, because death is a fact of life. So this is what is a matured and practical death of the modern times, where we'll have a black portion, but we'll be having a sense of life left also at the time of death. Now I'll unfold the concept of vitality ribbon in front of you. If we consider the ideal aging thing, which is kind of hypothetical, but the ribbon will look like this, where you'll see there is no black or the additional vitality spent, which is, again, I'm repeating that is kind of hypothetical. Let me bring the complete slide on the screen. Yeah, now I think it's completely visible.
Yeah.
So the green portion is the sense of life, red portion is the aging, and black portion is the additional vitality spent, which is missing on this particular ribbon, because this is an ideal hypothetical ribbon. Now, if we talk about a gradual aging with additional vitality spent, so additional vitality spent at this era is not avoidable, be it a physical level, be it at physiological level, be it psychological level. So additional vitality spent is a part of life. And if we understand that and reduce it mindfully, then the life gets a new turn, right? So let's see how the gradual aging with additional vitality spent happens. This would look like this, where you see the green portion, the sense of life is there, the aging is there, and also in the portion there are black additional vitality spent. So this is a kind of life ribbon. This is a lifespan, by the way. The ribbon is nothing but the lifespan, which starts with the birth and it goes to the death. Now I'll show you specifically with a conventional life with casual separations. You see this one. This is very important ribbon number 1. We need to understand that the point number 1 is the birth, and point number 8 is a death, is the death of the individual. Now, point number 2 is young state, and point number 3 is a chronic state, where you see the gradual increase of the additional vitality spent. And there will be default or conscious conservation of vitality at point number 4, where you see the black portion is lowering. And there will be a point where the vitality conservation will be the highest, and the triggers of healing crisis will be there to expel the extra toxin within. And with that, actually, if we opt for suppression, then the black portion will go up again, and slowly and progressively the disease will progress and we may suffer the death. So this is a conventional line. So here is a question. Can you explain the red portion once again? So red portion is the organic occupation of the vitality. So organic engagement of the vitality due to aging, because as the age progresses, the complexity of the cells also gets increased, and the complexity of the cell will occupy more and more vitality gradually in our metabolic process, and that will occupy the vitality which is unavoidable. We cannot avoid that. So that is what is the aging, as Victoria explained just in a while ago. So now this was the ribbon number 1, where the conventional. Yeah, you have some question?
It is the energy that is spent. It is gone. It cannot be regained. And you know, in a very old person, we quite often see an example where we see an elderly lady, and she might have a fall, and she falls down and she breaks her hip. Now, the body will always do physiologically that which is most important. So if a bone is broken, the body will, with its innate intelligence, will get to straight away, and it'll start to heal that bone. Now, say, for example, it takes 20, we want to hypothetically say it will take 20 units of energy to heal that bone, but the old lady at that stage of her life, she may only have 18 units of energy left. And so it's very, very, very often the case that you'll see An older person who has an accident, breaks a bone, and they die a short time after having had that fall or that accident. And that is absolutely a case of the fact that the person no longer has, their red section is high, they don't have much energy left, and they don't have enough energy left to heal that bone because of their age, because of how much energy is left in their body. And in nature cure terms, we would say that that is right action. You know, it's sad, of course, but if there is not enough nerve force left, if there's not enough energy left in the body to complete an essential task, then, you know, the passing of life is going to be the absolute natural outcome of that. So that's normal, it's natural. So that might help you to, and that is aging. The red section is just going to go up and up and up until there's nothing left and we pass. And that is right action. So, yes, unfortunately the red section does keep getting bigger, but the more we manage those little black sections, the slower that red section accumulates. Back to you, Kalyan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Professor Mustafa actually raised the same question once again. So I'll just take that up.
Please.
He asked that why vitality consumption, the red, is increased with age. Why more is needed? If we are maintaining the good lifestyle, is that true for that case too? Yes. So that's what Professor during the so let me flip that camera and I'll just show you the ideal case where this is the ideal case where there is no black portion. The slowly and gradually the aging will happen, and the aging means the complexity of the cells. Each cells will be more complex with the aging, and with that complexity of the cell, so by default it will happen. And with that complexity of the cell, the metabolic actions, the catabolic and the anabolic actions are also becoming complex in nature. And with that complexity of the metabolic action, the vitality occupation, the engagement of the vitality will progressively increase. And that is why the red portion, even though the individual doesn't have a black portion at all in the lifetime, there is no bad lifestyle at all, but this occupation of the or the engagement of the vitality will go on and on, right? You want to add something, Victoria?
No, I agree. Yep, for sure.
Okay. Right. So that was the ribbon one where I just showed that the how the vitality is with the casual suppression happen. Now I'll just introduce another vitality ribbon with well management, where you see the black flares. So off and on, the black portions are arising, you know. So you see at the childhood portion, childhood time also, the black portion is. Yeah, Professor Mustafa asked that if the complexity is inevitable with age increases, then it is logical. Great. Yeah, thanks, Professor.
Yes.
So by the way, Victoria, just to share, Professor Mustafa came for the last Sci Solution residential camp from all the way from Bangladesh to India to join.
Wow.
You know, he was. We were privileged to have him for the camp.
Very.
Yeah.
And thank you for
Right.
joining today.
So, yeah, thank you. So right. So now the ribbon 2, the intelligent way of vitality management, says that the ribbon, this ribbon also will have the black portions. So black portions are there, but coming and going, you see. And the happy death at the end, we see here, where the black is there, but a green portion, a sense of life is also left at the time of death, which is a conscious happy death. So this is what is the ribbon 2 talks about. Now let's talk about a severely mismanaged vitality. Severely mismanaged vitality, wherein you see lot of black portion. Lot of black portion, lot of suppressions, which is the majority. And if you now just, absolutely. So if you now just compare the length of these ribbons, ribbon 1, ribbon 2, and ribbon 3, you see it is increasing and decreasing that way. So a conventional life, an intelligent life, and a mismanaged life. So obviously the longevity gets affected,
Yes.
but the individual longevity. So longevity should not be compared by from person to person, but definitely the longevity of the individual gets affected by the
Absolutely.
lifestyle big time. So if we are conscious about our lifestyle choices, physically, physiologically, and psychologically, then this black portion goes for a reduction, and the green portion goes for a hike, and the sense of life goes up.
And the
So with
length of
that,
the
actually,
ribbons.
I would like to conclude the vitality ribbon concept with the last slide being intelligent vitality ribbon. And so definitely there is some kind of advertisements from our side. The first is our upcoming Sci Solution Foundation course, which is happening in Bikaner from Bikaner, India, from 14th to 17th of March. So those who are interested to join, just can WhatsApp on this number visible on your screen. You'll get an automated message back, and with that you can actually in that automated message there will be a link for the application form, so you can apply for this course. And we follow a very unique economic model which allows you to evaluate our service and pay. So that's what is the Sci Solution Foundation course. And definitely another aspect is having Victoria here. So Victoria offers a diagnostic consultation. Victoria, you want to explain something?
Yes, so I am located in Australia, but my work is pretty much all online. Nature Cure is as we've said today, it's about educating people to be able to take control of their own life. So I work extensively with people all around the world. So if you want to have a look a bit more about what I do, you could go to my website at www.moranpurenaturopathy.com, or you could WhatsApp me at this number. If you have any questions about your health, or you would like to look at improving your health, I work a lot also with talking about vitality management. The best vitality management happens prior to conception, so I work a lot with people preparing themselves to get pregnant so that they can conceive in the best possible health, so they can bequeath the best possible vitality and quality to their yet to be conceived child. So I love to work with people in that domain as well. But I work with people in all areas and all of health. So please, if you're looking for some proper direction, get in touch with me. Have a look at my website. Lovely. Thank you, Kalyan.
Yeah. So thank you, Victoria, for being here and being there always.
And thank you, Kalyan, for bringing physics into our worlds. Because I remember having a conversation a number of months ago with Kalyan that, and he and I both very, very strongly want to portray Nature Cure in the light that it is absolutely correct, and that it is not, you know, one of these weird and wonderful alternate fads. Let's try this week and try, at the moment there's all sorts of weird and wonderful things, and this is not Nature Cure. Nature Cure is a pure science, and it's always applicable, and it always works. So we need to make sure Nature Cure is seen as a science.
Comment from Professor Mustafa. Is it inevitable that a symptom will be over if not suppressed by medicine? Say, if an allergy occurs and caused skin problem kind of severely, still do I need to wait even if it itching a lot? Yeah, Victoria.
So I'm not sure if I understood that question completely, but
so what he is saying is, if somebody is suffering from an allergy, skin allergy, suppose. So allergy is a word, a medical word.
Yes.
So will the individual wait for normal recovery or opt for medicine?
Absolutely. I've never seen an allergy I couldn't sort out. I mean, allergy is easy. Allergy is a case where the system is so loaded with toxic material. And this toxic material, you've got to remember, is highly irritating. When anybody presents to me with a skin eruption, for example, 99.999% of the time a skin eruption has nothing to do with something that's come into contact with the skin. It's what's on the inside of the body, and the body is pushing it out. And what is coming out is toxic, it's acidic, it's burning to the skin. And so as it comes out, we see the skin become pink, we see the skin push up pustules, itch. Of course it's going to itch, sore, burning, because it's so toxic what's coming out from the skin. But to deal with an allergy is we've got to deal with the whole organism here. We've got to identify the cause, we've got to remove that cause, and then the body will absolutely, once we provide the 8 requirements for health of the human organism, the body is absolutely going to get rid of this waste material, and the symptom will subside. We do not treat the symptom, we treat the organism. And when we treat the organism, we see cases where people have had problems with eczema, dermatitis, etc., and they've had it for years, and it just completely goes and it never comes again, because it's just a state of chronic toxemia. And it's absolutely something a person can, and you do not want to suppress something that's coming out of the skin. You put a cream or something onto the skin, the cortisone creams that they so often are just shocking. And what you do is you throw the body, you've got to remember, everything the body does is right action. The body will never do anything to harm itself. So if you have I see people with big scaly red, all the skin is flaking on their elbows, we don't want to put something on that and send that back into the body. It's coming out of here, and it's so normal for the body to send. It's gone to a joint, and the body's pushing it out of there. It's right action. We don't want to suppress it. We don't want to send that waste material back onto the mucous membrane, because then it is going to lay that down into the lymphatics, and it's going to lay it down deeper into the body. And this is where the body becomes more and more chronic. Suppressing a symptom is absolutely akin with increasing the diseased state of the body. So absolutely never would you, any type of allergy, you don't want to suppress an allergy. And allergies, the human body can absolutely get past all of those allergies when it's no longer irritated. We've got some good articles on allergies, actually.
Yeah. So,
Thank you
so
for your
skin
question.
is evidently the largest eliminating organ.
Absolutely.
The largest
Absolutely.
eliminating organ. We
Absolutely.
need to acknowledge that.
Yeah, we look at skin.
Right.
Always, we look at the skin when we're diagnosing. Of course, we must do. Indeed.
Yeah. So, right, Victoria, so we can
Lovely.
call it a day for
We
time
can call
being,
it a
and
day.
we'll be definitely
Thank you.
rejoining for the next spell of our session.
Yeah, lovely. Thank
Right.
you very
Yeah,
much.
I'd
And
like
thank
to
you for
conclude.
everyone who's joined. Thank you for everyone who's joined today. And thank you again, Kalyan. It's always an honor and a pleasure to work with you. And hope the day warms up for you there in northern India.
Yeah, it's warming up.
Lovely. Lovely.
Okay.
Have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful day, everyone.
Bye-bye, all
Thank
of
you
you.
for joining in. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.